All right.
Our new sponsor.
Condo Grayskull, episode 44 Magnum.
44, despite the fact that we are only 3 strong
Right.
tonight.
Oh,
So
yeah.
44 minus
Which is
1.
sad because
Could have
it's
been even more
November the
fours.
4th.
It is November the 4th. It just kind of
2014.
almost seemed to work out. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, as you guys know. But Colin, well, he died.
Yeah. He died.
Yeah,
it was really
is,
sad.
he is no longer here with us. So
He died just
But
a,
he's
just
dead
a
to
couple
us.
minutes ago.
just a few minutes ago.
Dead to us.
I don't think it's really hit us yet. So
Well, to me, at least, he's dead
it's,
to me.
you know. In all fairness, though, it is actually like he's right here
yeah, because we replaced him with a camera.
because the camera is him. So this is what the Condo Grayskull Vidcast or podcast looks like from the first person view of Colin,
This
our own
is
Colin.
Colin's view.
Yeah, so you're welcome. Viewers.
Colin's a weird looking guy. He has 2 fish eyes. Two wide, strange eyes.
He also sees in 1080, 60 frames a second.
Ooh.
He can also take multiple pictures as opposed to taking videos.
He is skilled in that.
Yeah.
He doesn't let you know he's going to do it though.
And he has a remote.
Sounds kind of creepy. I don't know.
He is
Which,
a weird
for some
dude.
reason, doesn't hold a charge. Yeah.
He's a weird dude. No, but in all honesty, when he does come
Just
back...
light him up in the first 3 minutes of the podcast.
No, but when he comes back, he's going to be pissed because I buried his mic, and it's going to be covered in dirt.
He's gonna have to find it.
Yeah.
If he wants to see.
Did you bury it in your ass like you did his
No,
headset?
it's so a little backstory on that one. So Colin's like, "Hey, did I leave my?" This was obviously a few months back. He's like, "Did I leave my headset over at your house on the last recording?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let me check." So I found it, and I had
Immediately stuffed it in.
I stuffed it in my
shorts.
inside my underwear, and then I had Mike Davis take a picture and send it over to him and say, "Are these yours?" And and yeah.
Let's see here. I might have that.
Yeah, you do, because you reused that not long ago.
That should be That should have been posted on the site. Why was that not posted
Yeah,
way back when?
You know, it's I keep of the picture folders that I have on my phone. I do have one called the Daily Funny, and it's basically just a collection of anything that I think might be funny and applicable to whatever situation it might be called for.
Okay.
And it's a collection of funny shit that I keep on deck.
Yeah,
at all
So you
times.
Yeah, because I
React with the
noticed
photo.
that you just have stuff to call up right away.
I do.
Headphones
How many-
or like
there's-
thong phones.
There's a reason for that. There's
How many pictures you got in that folder, Mikey?
I think I'm pushing close to 50.
Well, he
right
maxed
now.
out back in 2011, so
I did. I dumped
he's having to
everything.
delete pictures of his kid's birth and just to make room.
Old rare videos that I'll never get back.
Yeah.
But you know what? That picture of Rick Moranis in
Yeah, in space.
in the
in
Spaceballs
yeah.
costume. Yeah, that's
Well, I'm sure some of your ex-girlfriends are glad you're getting rid of some of those videos.
that's
you know?
timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's timeless.
And I'm sure your current one is too.
Timeless.
It's Spaceballs of all movies. Yeah. I mean,
Oh yeah, here it is. All right, so yeah, you remember that gem, right?
I mean, I was more in the giving end.
You got it.
Thank you.
You got it right up in there.
Just
Yeah.
show that to
And
everyone.
I'm going to be honest. I
You
told
put
him,
your back into it.
well, yeah. That's exactly what I did.
He
I put
literally did.
but I did actually promptly clean it after that. 'Cause he's like, I'm gonna have to boil those. And I'm like, I'll boil them for you. So,
You're a gentleman. That's
yeah.
why.
Well,
Wait,
not at first.
Was that in your crack, actually?
No, it was just I lifted my underwear, dropped the headphone down, and then closed it. I didn't actually put it in.
It almost looked like it was this way. Like,
No,
It was your crack, your butt cheeks were
I
hugging.
mean, honestly, I would have gone all the way down and clenched it.
you should, or just have the fucking the cord
But I'm gonna be honest.
like it's plugged into your ass,
Well,
and then
okay.
have Michael wearing. That would have been the better picture.
This sounds
Okay,
so good right now.
Well, the next time that you're doing the
sounds
prank,
so good.
I can't hear shit.
Oh man,
Oh man.
I'm just like rocking out. Oh Jesus.
Oh man. Listening to the Butthole Surfers.
Yes,
Oh yeah.
literally, quite literally.
Yeah. So no, but it sucks. He's not here. He always has some anecdotal stuff or some kind of movie or something he's watching.
Yeah, we won't know what
Something I know what anti-religion thing has he watched this week. We
what
might know.
documentary
world-
is.
the world will have to wait a week.
engaged in.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, the world.
So so he actually is just under the weather. he didn't actually die.
And he's moving.
So
he's getting ready for moving day.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
dead to the valley.
You would know the schedule, Michael.
I do. I do know the schedule.
You're helping it out. So
I have the secret schedule.
nice.
Don't tell us.
You got to turn 2 keys and simultaneously to unlock that schedule.
It's
nukes his house back into
it's at
wherever
the-
he's going.
the vault 716 of Gringotts Bank.
Is that Harry Potter?
That is Harry Potter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a reference. And the only reason I make that is because I did just watch that film with my kids just this past weekend.
Is that Deathly Hallows?
No, that was the first one. That was Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh, okay.
Are your parents cool with that now?
Well, are they cool with it? Meaning,
The only reason this is the second time we brought this up.
Yeah,
This
he
was
did bring it up
actually
previously.
this something happened before where I went to lend you the book,
yes.
and she said, or you told me that she was uncomfortable with that because there's witchcraft. I believe it was
He didn't remember
Their mom?
No, your mom.
Oh, when you went to lend it to me,
It was to you, or I think your sister. It was way back in the day. And
I was going to say this has got to be.
You
this
said
is not
you
just
can't.
last week.
No, this was this is before you moved out. No, this was not last week.
Okay, so this is
Though if it was
years
last week, I still wouldn't be surprised if you didn't
over
remember.
a decade ago. Yeah, well, that's true. Fair
No,
enough.
but that's cool. I mean, she obviously realizes that it's no BD, right?
NBD.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, I am, my.
Let me tell you, Joe, we had the door locked and we
Kicked my mom out.
there's
Yeah,
a towel stuff
yeah.
under the door.
Sent her off to a nice steak
Had it
dinner.
down at volume
no,
level 2.
no. There's no conflict there. I mean, they understand that I play the role of the parent, and
Okay, yeah.
that's not to say that we haven't clashed in the past.
Sure.
And I have very quickly had to have a conversation, with my mom about, look, I am the parent, and I know you've done this before, but this is my role. Your role is grandma, showering them with gifts and spoiling them to no end.
Yeah. If you
And-
want to show them Chucky,
right, and my role, yes.
you
Yes.
goddamn.
So I said, so I'm going. We're
Gonna
now
do
going to
it.
go upstairs and celebrate the entire Friday the 13th catalog, and you will goddamn well like it.
Wow. Your relationship seemed to have deteriorated since last time.
Yeah,
I know
And
that.
then I said, if that's how you feel, then go fuck yourself.
And then you slammed every door in the house.
And then before I left the room, I turned around and said, "Thanks for the toast,"
Yeah, and then kissed her on the forehead.
because she made me a meal.
You took a page out of my book with the "Go fuck yourself" to
Right.
to your parent, huh?
Well, that
He even
was-
ran outside, slammed the shed door, went in the garage, slammed the garage door.
And then I slam danced for an hour.
I know that feeling though. It's the clashing with the the grandmother. Like they want to do their own thing, and you're like, no, I want to do it this way.
Right.
This is my kid.
Well, and see, here's the thing: is while there was a little bit of clashing, and I did have my 2 cents to throw in, I understand being a parent. I don't think I'm ever going to see myself now out of that role.
No.
I mean, regardless of how old my boys are going to be, I'm always going to be their dad, and I'm always going. Now,
What was the subject in question?
It was just, I can't even remember the exact situation, but I came home from work, and my mom and dad had been watching the kids for me, and there had been some sort of Brandon was excited to tell me about something. And I came home, and he runs in, and Dad, I can't wait to tell you, and everybody's just kind of attacking, and I said, okay, well, what is it that you want to tell me? And it was this same thing that he has been telling me for the past 2 weeks at the time, and it was about this toy that he wanted, and he just couldn't wait to get it, and he just wanted it. And as he starts going into his whole sales pitch again, I looked at him, I said, Brandon, I said, if this is going to be about you telling me how much you want that toy, I know, you've told me, I just got back from work, I'm going to make dinner, and we're going to have a good evening. You can tell me about it later. And I guess he just got deflated or something. And it was, I didn't kill his spirit, but I did cut him off. I nipped it in the bud. I was like, look, I don't need to hear again about how much you want this toy.
He was like in a full suit, gave you a business card.
yeah, right. Let me
So, I talked about this
me take
presentation.
2 minutes of your time.
Exhibit A, father.
Had a PowerPoint with one of those extender things, and just
It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse when he's in the garage or whatever, telling them about his plan,
Oh, yeah.
and they're all sweating because they're in there for hours.
Yeah.
Exhibit C. And so my mom saw this whole dialogue, and before they left, it was just she comes up to me. She says, "Michael, I need to talk to you right now." And she tries to pull me off into a side room. "I need to talk to you right now. Brandon was so excited to tell you about that, and you need to go in there, and she's telling me what to do." And I looked at her and I cut her off and I said,
Nip that in the bud.
I said,
Just cutting off everyone in the
Mom,
house.
I said, I appreciate what it is you're trying to do. I said, but I understand the situation. I know he was excited, but this is something he's been talking to me about for, I gave her the whole breakdown. I said, second of all, I am the father. I will raise my kids how I want. You do not tell me what to do. I'm going to go into the other room. I'm not going to have this conversation with you. I'm going to make dinner for the kids. And that's how it's going to be.
And respectfully, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I say it with all due respect.
With
so
all
it's
due
fine.
respect.
And thanks for the pudding. Yeah.
No, that's the true
And
story.
then,
That was it, yeah.
then you're like, "Hey, Dad," and he's like, "What?" And you're like, "Shut up." You had to cut off everyone in the
I
house
did.
right there.
I
And then
did.
you're like, "Okay, I feel better."
I did.
No, absolutely. That would be tough for me. I mean, obviously, I'm not in that situation yet, but
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're gonna
it's
experience
just-
it firsthand.
my mom's has a lot of experience with how many kids now, so it's just she really does
And grandkids.
well, grandkids, I should
right,
say.
yeah.
That's what I should say. So
Yeah.
she's pretty relaxed when it comes to that stuff. And
Mom's
and-
pretty chill, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, she'll make suggestions like, "Hey, do you want like the girls to come over to the house so that they can get away from the boys?" Because she's good at reading feelings. So if she notices that they're just kind of like, "Gosh, these boys are just picking their nose and playing with their wieners all the time. We need to get away."
That happens.
She's pretty receptive. So I'm excited. She has a lot of experience, but I'm just nervous by the time I get kids over to her. It's going to be like the last mile of the marathon. She's like, "Yeah, okay, let's get this
Oh,
over
she
with."
won't even care. She'll have a back stock of toys that haven't been opened yet, and then she'll just shower them with gifts all the time. "Here you go, Grandma. Can we have money for that?" "Yes, here's a check for $100."
I don't know if
Go
that's
to
going
the
to happen.
ice
She's
cream
probably going
man.
to have cliff notes for all the 4-page books she has, so it'll be like a quarter of a page. There's a prince and a frog in the end. Get out of here.
Right.
I gotta say, my mom
the
is
Titanic sinks. Leave.
seemingly pretty burned out. She's
Yeah.
got my 2 older nieces, and it's just like, okay, and she loves my kids obviously, but
Sure.
she's not around and helping out as much as she was when my sister had hers.
I'm sure the
It was
enthusiasm
just
kind
like-
of breaks down.
Well, I mean,
It's like, I'm going to be a mom again, kind of. And then you get there and you're like, "Oh, man, there's
Yeah.
a reason why I hung up my shoes." It's like, that's a lot of work.
yeah, it is
Interesting.
totally
Interesting.
But, yeah.
Well, did you have anything to add with that, Mike? Anything else? I mean, do you want to talk about your week?
Yeah, how was your week, Mikey?
I was going to ask about your weeks, guys.
Oh, all right.
I was going to say, how was your week?
Turn it over to Joseph, maybe.
Jeez.
You want to take point on this one?
Sure.
right.
So my week, mostly work, and then Thursday I went over to this masquerade over at the Palladium,
Masquerade.
where Steve Aoki and
faces on parade.
who was it, Afrojack played, and that
Nice.
was fun. I went as Ace Ventura. There's a $5,000 costume contest. I didn't win.
Okay, I was going to say, so you're now $5,000 richer.
No,
We wish.
No.
I'm not sure who won. It was probably someone with huge titties and probably paid
Yeah.
by someone I'm going to pay you $4,000 if you give me $1,000. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, dude,
Just some.
and that's a trend.
Like a model? Like-
Yeah,
Yeah, like-
just get out there and wear this shirt from my radio
Right.
station, and you can be like a hooker witch,
right,
From
right.
89.432.
Have you noticed? I mean, and maybe this is an appropriate conversation to have real quick, not to derail.
No, please,
your
derail
week,
away.
But it just it makes me think. After Halloween and dressing up and everything, but the costumes that are available now, there's a child appropriate version,
Yeah.
and then there's just the slutty version.
Oh yeah.
And it just seems to me like so many costumes nowadays are just being tailored to how
Sluts?
how much clothing can we put on so that it just borderlines legal, and then we send you out and like, okay, you're a nurse, you're a nun, but it's almost like
Here's-
anything is sexy now. It's like, oh, I'm a sexy mechanic because I've got
Sure.
Huge tits.
And two wrenches
tape over
covering my
and
nipples,
wrenches,
yeah.
or who are you? I'm sexy sexy Hagrid.
Yeah,
from,
sexy Hitler.
From,
Wow.
from Harry
Yeah.
Potter. It's like, how do you even do that? It's like, well, my
With
tits
the
are
beard
showing.
and everything.
I've got a beard, but my tits are showing. So
Yeah, but my beard's covering them.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's I'm finding
I don't
that-
mind it, I guess.
I don't
I
mind
don't
either,
know.
but I will say this: over the past few years, I've noticed, obviously a little bit of a switch. People are getting more creative because hooker like nurses and hooker this and slutty that has been done so many times. So I'm
Yeah.
finding people are like, all right, I'm going to be Breaking Bad or this show or French Kiss where they dress up like Kiss the band and have baguettes and a
Oh, nice.
yeah, like a beret. So I mean they're getting a little more creative, but I mean honestly, I think when you're between 20 and or 18 and 28 and you just have a banging body, it's like it's pretty hard not to be like,
yeah.
yeah, let's make everything hard.
That's true.
And it was funny, I went into the store, the costume store, and there was one section where it was just like lingerie in like those plastic costume bags, but they're not wearing tops. They're all covering their boobs. I'm like, so wait, you just get the bottoms?
Yeah, probably.
And I'm like, I don't understand what you would buy on the top because it's just like lingerie.
It's just a Superman shirt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or paint. It's
Yeah.
supposed to be body paint,
Oh.
Maybe.
so that it
Yeah.
looks like you're wearing something.
Yeah.
but
Just paint on another
really,
set of titties.
Yeah.
Just like
Just paint.
Can you imagine?
Do you paint boobs on with like better looking areolas?
Boobs
Because
on
yours are kind
your
of weird,
boobs.
maybe.
that would be funny, actually.
Yours are like huge pastrami ones, and you shave them down. Shave them down with some makeup. But
Yikes.
after that, I mean, that was fun. After that, Friday, passed out candy.
Here?
Yeah, I mean, they had this thing going on downstairs, so it was more us running around to the bowls set outside. Me and Lauren, there was bowls set out.
refilling
And no, just taking their candy because they had better stuff than what I got. I got stuff I liked, and I realized that Lauren didn't like any of it. So
It's funny that you say that because while you were passing out candy,
Mm-hmm.
my kids effectively passed out in their candy.
yeah, that's how I did it when I was younger.
Yeah.
Oh, because
Yeah.
they trick or treated their asses.
Because they
off?
just trick or treated their asses off and then ate and ate and
Oh, wow.
ate.
Yeah, and it's almost like almost like
Until-
ADHD. Like you have so much of that hyper medicine until you're just like
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
crashed.
counteracts.
Your body's just like, nope.
Well, let me ask you this: how many hours were you with them?
oh yeah.
So how many hours were you guys out trick or treating?
We probably were only out maybe an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we were with April and her kids, and she had her family over, so it was about 10 kids total.
Were you in TO?
Yeah, we were in TO at her house, and the weather was kind of taking a turn for the worse.
Windy, right? It was windy.
Well,
and-
windy, cloudy, but I mean
Yeah.
that was the night it rained, so it actually started
Oh,
raining.
that's right.
It started raining shortly after we got back. So
What time was that at?
it was probably about
9
I don't
to
know.
10, 9 to 10.
I was
I
gonna
think
say
it's,
like 9 o'clock.
It was slightly later for us out here.
9:30.
Yeah, probably close to that. I don't know.
Yeah, but they had fun. But I mean, we got back to her house, and then, we being the parents were tired of corralling these crazy kids.
Yeah.
It's like that synergistic effect where everyone's just feeding off everyone else's energy. It's just
What ages are her children?
she's got a 12-year-old girl who didn't hang out with us. That she went trick or treating with a friend of hers independently. So then it was her son. Who's 9, her son who is 5, so that's my kids, Brandon and Blake,
Damn.
who are 8 and 5.
Wow.
So super close. And then her,
Are they cool with each other? Are they pretty? Are
Dude, they get along. You'd think they'd be best friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, their
So
entire
they're just
lives.
like, let's do it. We're
They're like, you know what? This is trick or treating. We're gonna have a blast.
cool.
We like
Hey,
each other.
That works out.
Yeah. It's really convenient. And then her brother came up with his wife and kids from San Diego, and they've got a couple kids of their own. And then her sister and her husband came. They live in Porter Ranch, and they've got 3 kids of their own, 3 boys.
Damn.
So a lot of boys.
There
a
was
lot
like
of energy.
there was like no trick or treaters by me. I think I got. I'm gonna say it just because I think it's funny because it was the only trick or treaters we got, but we got 2 sets of trick or treaters, and they were all black. There was 2 girls, and then there was 3 kids, 1 boy and 2 girls.
And it was just you just.
So I got 5 trick or treaters total, and they were all black. Thought it was interesting.
That's especially where you live.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have
Arkansas.
expected that. Yeah, I don't know.
That is
I
weird.
expected more people. I bought a ton of candy. I mean, like a big bag.
I just sent my kids over. So they were, earlier I was kind of lying, guys. I have 5 now. Yeah.
I was hoping for more, but you know what? It actually worked out though because the door it's around my daughter's bedtime.
Oh, yeah.
She goes to bed about 8, and it was actually like kind of throwing her off, and she looked kind of like nervous because like all of a
Sure.
sudden there's like banging on the door, and there's
Like a
doorbell.
dog. Yeah.
So it just made her like exactly.
There's a
Give her-
disturbance in the force, and they can totally feel it.
So that was kind of not cool. So I turned off the lights actually.
Really?
Maybe that's probably why I didn't get any more. There probably would have been kids still trick or treating after 8.
And then you put a cardboard cutout of you and a dog, and you have your both middle fingers up with a shirt that says "Fuck Halloween."
I just left the chainsaw running out.
Yeah, and then with the chain on it, like a really dangerous one.
Of course.
Full tank of gas on that
Please
thing.
don't- yeah,
On a
please don't.
string, and it was just swinging back
It's one of
and
those
forth.
super long ones lumberjacks use.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Totally.
That seems really dangerous. What else did I do? I watched Captain America again.
Nice.
Is that Winter Soldier?
Yes, that one.
That's okay.
Watched it twice.
Just this weekend you watched it
Well, I
twice?
watched it in the theaters, but I was
Okay.
like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it again and again.
And how'd you like it?
Yeah, you know, it's a lot of action.
Yeah?
It's really good.
Cool. I
like
want
it.
to see that one.
Yeah, I still need to lend you the second Thor.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I watched that again. Really great movie. I love the ideas about. I just love his character. He just has so much character.
Integrity. Yeah, he's just so wholesome.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And it goes so well with the vibe of him coming from the 40s, 50s?
Yes.
Yeah, 40s.
Yes.
Because it was World War II, technically. I don't know what you would call it since it was against Red Skull.
Well,
I should say, no, it was, what is it, what's the agency called?
Shield?
No.
No, that's the
Hydra.
Yeah.
Hail Hydra, they say.
Oh.
So, I mean, obviously it's an
Based off
alternate,
the comic book.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
alternate
Yeah.
universe, but World War II. But yeah, that was fun. Then Saturday I went to another Halloween party at a friend's house, and I went as something different. I
Nice.
just had 2 loaves of bread around my neck. Do you know what I was?
Well, you told me.
I do know.
Yeah, so I was the gingerbread man, because I'm a ginger, and I'm a man, and now I had bread.
Nice.
And I had a sign ready. I was going to pin it on me, just so that no one had to guess. They could
Guess
just look and be
about
like,
it.
"Oh yeah."
Sure.
And Lauren's like, "No, don't do that." And everyone just looked at me and they're like, "What are you?" I was like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
So,
Wait, did you have 2
So then you
loaves
ended
of
up-
bread?
Yeah,
You had 2 full loaves of bread around.
yeah. I had 2. I had like Wonder Bread and then like a wheat because I wanted selection.
Of course.
And then like a base. I could only find a shoelace to like basically tie on each end, and it just was like a necklace. So I
Nice.
just had 2 breads.
And then you ended up having to do exactly what you didn't want to do,
which is
which
explained.
the
Yeah.
sign would have alleviated,
Yeah.
which was you explaining why
Yeah.
you were
I
dressed.
can't
the way you
imagine
were.
that was that much of an inconvenience. You want to...
Well, yeah, there
wanna
wasn't
talk
400
about-
people, you know. I'd much rather have someone look and be like,
Oh,
instead of like,
like...
Yeah.
can I get a hint? You're like,
They're just talking amongst their other friends, like, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
Are you like Metallica? Are you bread fan? What are you?
Is that like-
what's going on?
Is that
Are
Mr.
you
T?
Toast Man? Can I have
And
some?
that was the funniest thing is that was a big thing I was doing. I was like, hey, can we have a toast? You know, and I was like, any way you slice it, it's gonna.
Oh.
So you're making all these clever puns.
Hey, it was the yeast I could do.
Were they getting it?
No, I mean some of them.
Son of a
Until I
bitch.
was like, you guys are acting like real heels, and no one's like, yeah, I don't.
Dang it! You know
Wow.
what?
You know, I
You
was,
had a lot of puns lined up. Shit.
were ready,
You were,
yeah.
you were,
And it sounded like you
I
executed.
really got a
them.
rise out of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. See,
Yeah.
it sounded like you executed him beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you
Did
know
that get frustrating at all that people weren't picking
Well,
it up on?
I have
Like,
to admit, since being a manager at a restaurant, I've just gotten used to the fact that it's just people are stupid.
between the smarts and the
No,
stupid,
it's just-
it's an unleavened playing field.
It's a combination of being very nice
you.
job.
All right.
A combination of my parents, obviously, exposing me to a lot of older things as well, and then me retaining kind of what I've
Right.
grown up.
or being, I don't know, smart.
I guess, yeah. I don't know.
Sure.
I mean, I don't expect everyone to know who Gilligan's Island is, but the first
can't
moment you
expect
realize
every-
it's pretty
That's-
tough.
Yeah, that's a generational thing. But
Yeah.
bread is baked, the same way and has been for eons. So it's
just when I
generally-
looked it up, this is the best part. They're like, I've never heard the heel one. So I looked it up, and the first thing I find on the internet is he's acting like a heel is something no one says anymore. And I was like, ugh.
Ah,
It was like the first thing I read on like Wiki. I was like, okay.
Yeah, but
shit.
you know what? I mean,
oh,
there's
you're
a,
bringing it back then.
there's
Yeah,
a
maybe.
there's a generational gap.
Yeah.
And you can't expect everybody to find one brand of humor, funny.
No, I was just sandwiched between a lot of young people.
Sure. Yeah.
I was in a jam.
Did you roll into the party and say, "Hey, who wants to get baked?" I am so baked right now.
Oh man, that's really good. That's really good. So, well, yeah. So there was that, and what happened Sunday?
Wait.
Football.
Yeah. If you were involved in a conversation and somebody disagreed with you, did you say, "Hey, why are you going against the grain?"
No, I should have. He's shaking his head now. Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Come on, Michael. All right.
Yeah, wordplay is something I enjoy. So, I did that actually last night. Lauren grabs my butt, and I said, "Hey, what are you grabbing for?" She's has her hands out she's waiting for, she's grabbing my butt she has her hands out for "Hey, give me some Skittles."
Yes.
I'm like, "What are you waiting for? Some shittles?" And then I just started going. Yeah, you want a filthy way? I had a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. That's what I do.
A filthy way.
Yeah.
A filthy way.
But did she take you up on that?
But anyways, yeah, that was pretty funny. That was my Sunday. I
Nice.
just thought up of candies relating to butts and poops. That was a good day.
Sounds like a solid weekend.
Yeah, it was. But that's about it. What about you guys?
Well, to also, we had a nice, decent bike ride on Sunday.
Yeah,
Could have been better, but I was a little
right.
under the weather, so
it was
wasn't
cold.
extended.
We went up some hills though. I was pretty proud of you on those. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, it's definitely something to aim towards. Being able to do that with a little bit more ease.
Yeah.
But I didn't really stop and just kind of fought through it. So
It's good to have goals, Michael.
Yeah.
I
don't think it ever gets easy. It just gets where you just take less breaks.
It
Yeah,
just
more
gets
stamina.
less hard.
and be able to do it a
Yeah.
bit faster. I
Yeah.
was moving pretty slowly, but that was a decent grade, and
Yeah.
for an extended period of time, I was like, oh shit, when is this gonna end?
Yeah, it's a
but
weird
that's
feeling.
Fun.
Yeah.
I mean, coming back down, that was really fun. I mean, obviously going down hills is going fast is fun, but there was just a curvature to the road,
Yeah, it was fun.
and then it swept around one way, and then it came back around the other way, and the sun. It was just beautiful day and
Yeah.
everything. Weather was gorgeous.
Not a lot of cars out.
Yeah, and it was
cool.
just that was really pretty cool. But last week was cool. My daughter, we had her second birthday.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
2 years old now.
Happy birthday to her.
2 years old, little tiny baby girl, already 2.
And she's
And
got,
only
and
2.
she's got you wrapped around her
yeah.
finger.
Man, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
That's it.
That's it.
You're
for me.
powerless, Michael.
Yeah, totally. It was cool. I mean, we had actually celebrated the weekend before. We celebrated on her birthday, and then we celebrated again on Saturday.
What is she, 21?
Because we,
You're setting a standard here, Michael. Where you're going to have to live up to that now.
We're only able to celebrate with certain people at certain times, so we wanted to,
Sure.
just kind of experience, have as much fun as we possibly could for that single event.
During these celebration times, I'm assuming that your mother and father were in attendance.
On her actual birthday, yeah.
Was it weird between you and your pop?
Oh no! I called
Yeah,
him.
good.
I called him. I called him that night.
Yeah, you
that
explained that.
happened.
Yeah, you told us last week,
Yeah.
but I didn't know if that.
You
if there was
know.
there's always, even though you clear the air, sometimes there's always going to be when you see that person the next time, there's some lingering weirdness of just
I hate to say it. There's
Hey.
bigger issues than that fucking little argument that we had. That,
Sure.
But no, we're the same. It's an even keel, and that keel is fucked up. But
But it's even.
But it's even.
But it's even.
It's an even
So,
fucked up.
and that's fine. I don't think anything's going to change. I'm 36 years old, and it's
You're an old man set in your
nothing-
ways.
Well, I'm just saying that our relationship has always been a particular way, and I don't see that
Sure.
changing. That was cool, and they enjoyed themselves.
Nice.
I did want to tell you a couple of things.
Please.
Well, one thing I did finally get to watch a movie.
Oh,
I
yeah?
haven't watched a full movie in quite some time, and maybe you guys have seen it. It's been out a while, but The Last Stand. Have you seen this with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I've seen parts of it, yeah.
I
Okay.
have
Where
not
it's
seen
that
this, so-
super fast car, and he's like a sheriff.
Yeah.
I saw the beginning. I fell asleep to the beginning 4 times.
Yeah,
Quality film.
That's a good bedtime film.
It's just dumb fun. It's just dumb action.
Sure.
But
it's good, right? I heard it was decent.
it's made very well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not cheeseball. It is cheeseball action movie, but it's not cheeseball like in its quality.
That's
Right.
kind of his
Right.
thing.
No, totally.
Yeah.
And he's a horrible
Outside
actor,
of
and
the
he just owns it.
Terminator,
And he does it though.
Yeah, and he just pulls it off. But there's some Johnny Knoxville's pretty goofy in it, but it's kind of just fine.
Yeah.
But there's some gory kind of action
what I've
in
heard.
that. It's just like pink mist like out of everywhere, like people getting their heads blown off.
Is
and
it validated, or is it just? Are you watching it going, all right, come on now, that's
it's a little bit over the top.
not necessary.
I think that they're trying to like nail some type of realism, honestly, but it's a little, but it's over the top. I don't know. Maybe they're going for like slightly over the top. They definitely succeeded in that regard. Then
yeah.
wasn't that the precursor to Over the Top, the arm wrestling movie?
With
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, slightly over the top.
yeah, he was racing. This guy was racing to get to the match, and he lifted this high end ZR1.
Who's winning the match, Pop? Yeah.
What else? I wanted to. I don't know if I should get to this after. I kind of wanted to give you guys an update on the whole thing with Speaking of my daughter, this whole thing with this
Ariana.
this visitor,
Mr. Red?
I was hoping.
the orange guy.
Oh, that's right, because
Okay.
it's Orange Guy, and for
Yeah.
a while you thought it was me.
Oh shit! This is gonna take a turn for the creepy now.
Was it 2 weeks ago when I came up to the door and I had like my black and orange helmet on, and I'm
You actually
orange
met
in
me
general?
outside. You did not come to the door, I don't think.
No, well, she was at the door, right? That was when she was waving
did
to me.
she wave? Okay.
And then for a second there,
Well, you know what I've come to find out
Yeah, what's
is that my wife told me that she calls I guess black people, she says orange. So
Okay.
I guess something about maybe a particular skin tone, like, and I could almost, there's almost like an orange hue to some African American people's skin tone in
because
a way,
of the
like
sun or whatever.
light, something like that. So I don't know where she's getting it, but Sarah, my wife, said that when she's seen some black people, that she was calling them orange.
Do you think she's? Well, that's not a colorblind because it's usually like.
No, she's not colorblind.
Okay.
No, I had a fear of that too, because it's like, like when Mike would know this, when you're watching your child develop, you're very keen on everything, and you're paying very close attention, and you're like, if they get something wrong, you're like, oh God, my child's retarded or something like this, and you're just very concerned about that. So like, watching her develop and like, listen, okay, what color is this? Oh, this is blue, and she's saying green. Is she colorblind? No,
No.
She's just
Of course.
retarded.
she's just she doesn't know yet. She's learning. She's less than 2 years old, but
Of course.
now she knows all her colors, and she can say her ABCs and count to almost 15. So she's a genius. She's not retarded.
Yeah, she thinks I'm dating an orange lady.
But anyway, well, so I found that, I don't know. I mean, I know
that, or I wonder if there's any correlation to the fact that orange is also maybe standard issue for the garments of the federal state prison system.
Okay, that's racist.
I don't.
That's
No,
that's racist.
there are plenty of
that's-
multicultural people in the federal state prison system
just-
with orange.
taking this all in. That just seems
I'm
really
kidding.
racist.
so again, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm just saying.
No, it's okay.
I don't know
I'm gonna
where
block this
that comes from.
URL from my girlfriend's phone.
But I just found that interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I don't.
So okay, does that change things? So now she has a black dude in her room.
Well-
and she's screaming.
It just made me think, why? Like,
Okay.
Like, why would that be what she's relating to orange? I don't know why she's saying that. Do the things relate? I don't know. They might not. But what she told me the other day, which was really creepy to me.
Oh gosh, here we
Here
go.
we go.
Good Halloween special.
Yeah, no, really. This was like the day after Halloween. I was like, baby girl, what color are daddy's eyes? And she goes, blue. And I said, okay, what color are your eyes? And she said, blue. And I said, okay, what color are your brother's eyes? And she said, blue. And
Is this all true so far?
this is all true.
Okay.
This is all true.
Okay.
And then I said, who else has blue eyes? And I just was wondering, I just said it. It just came out. And she said, the guy. And I said, which guy? And she said, the guy in orange. And I said, so now I'm like, fuck, I don't want to, this is...
Dude, a black guy with blue eyes can can be creepy.
Yeah.
It can be scary or beautiful.
That's really...
It can be absolutely astonishing.
I would err on the side of magnificent. But,
yeah, but I could see how it could be scary, too.
So I said, so now I'm like, I want to get as much information without like startling her or anything. I just want to see what else she has to say.
So you put a light in her face and you asked her where she was on Tuesday night?
Yeah, exactly. I said, okay, babe, where, the guy has blue eyes. All right. Where's the guy? And she says, now we had the party and everything. We had the party, we had balloons, we had streamers and everything.
Is this during the day?
We decorated. This is during the day.
Okay.
This is during the day. It was like right before nap, like 11 a.m., something like that.
Okay.
And we have a dining room where we decorated for her birthday. This was just a day or two before. And there was balloons on the floor and everything, and streamers on the ceiling. And I said, where's the guy? And she said, behind the balloons. And it creeped me out because she has always gravitated towards that room or pointed towards that room when she's talked about this guy. And I'm like, fuck, this is really, creepy to me. I'm like, all right, well, I asked her a couple more questions. Didn't really give me any significant answers. But then she says, the guy likes the baby Carter. And I was like, and that really creeped me out.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so Yikes. I'm like, again, I just asked her a few more questions, and nothing significant came of it, so I just dropped it. But later that day, we were just playing around the house, and she got a little scooter for her birthday, and I was dragging her around the house on that, and I was almost intentionally kind of trying to bring her towards that room just to see if she would say anything or whatever. And I brought her in there.
Let me bring you into the room of your nightmares. Jeez.
Because I gotta know, man. I need answers at this point.
I understand.
And she was getting kind of freaked out in that room, and she's like, "No, Daddy, I don't want to go in here. I want to go out the other way towards the kitchen." And I'm like, okay, babe.
Which room is this?
Why don't you like this room? This is the dining room where the piano is.
Oh, okay.
And and it's just my mind is just like, what the hell's going on here? This is ridiculous. So that was that. She didn't want to be in that room at that time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it had anything to do with anything, but again, it's just my hair was standing up on the back of my neck. It's freaking me out.
Have you done a Google search on your address or anything?
Yeah, I know. I totally have. I totally have. And nothing came up. I thought about asking the landlord, like, hey, did anything happen here? Like, but they're Korean. They're
so nice too. I met them.
Yeah, that's right. You did. Yeah, super
really
nice. I was just gonna ask him, like, hey, did you know, like, did anything ever happen with other tenants or this and that? Because I know they've been renting that place for a while. But I don't know. It's just really strange. I really don't think that there's anything to it. But I think there's just kind of a lot of coincidences.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's strange.
But I mean, why would she say, you're asking him where the guy is, and she says behind the balloons, and then just unprovoked or not being led into the next question, I'm assuming, why would she say he also likes the baby?
I
mean, that's random.
Yeah, I know. It freaked me out.
That is random. And this wasn't happening before you guys moved in to the house? No nightmares at the apartment?
Well, no, she definitely had, like...
Talk of the orange man
at
the apartment?
No.
Okay, now I'm going to go out on a limb here. And it's just because I like to explore all avenues. I am a believer in things that
paranormal,
are unexplained, paranormal. Mm-hmm. We talked about it in a podcast before, but I've had my own experiences. Have you thought to look back at photos of her and look for? And I know it sounds cheesy, but look for like distortions in the film or in the photos. In that scene in The Sixth Sense where there's that scene where the mother is kind of starting to realize maybe my son is seeing something that I don't, and she's looking at these baby photos of him, starting from maybe something that was taken just a few weeks ago to down to baby, and in almost every shot there's like just this little twinkling of light or this little kind of distortion.
I kind of remember that part of the movie. Interesting.
That's That is a rocky road
I know.
to go down, because I feel like
know.
that will induce so much paranoia.
Of course.
And there's even books and stories about people putting themselves into this almost panic doing that.
right.
You know?
And
Right.
I'll tell you this. I'm not frightened in the least bit in the house. I
Yeah.
really am not.
Of course
You know,
not.
I did for a moment have like a hair-raising experience,
Yeah,
or a
it's
feeling,
creepy.
whatever. It's creepy.
Yeah.
But, from minute to minute, it's not really bothering me. But my fear is that something's bothering her. But
Right.
I will say this. Later that day, the next day, and then yesterday, or no, that happened on Saturday. And then on actually Sunday was the day that she was freaked out for a minute in that room. But then later that night, she was fine.
Yeah.
So and then yesterday and then today, nothing. No talk of it. Although today she did say something about two guys, which was weird.
Oh, jeez.
But
friends in here.
He's bringing friends. now.
yeah,
Was there like...
it's fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
It's really
That's
weird.
that's crazy. Because I can tell you right now, like I'm kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum from Mike. Like I don't really believe in that stuff as much, but
I don't believe in it at all.
I will say this. Like anything like that would affect me. I have a very active imagination. That would get me going.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I don't believe in it. I tell myself, like, I can't believe in something until I've experienced it,
Right, me too.
felt something. That's not to say that it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't exist, but you know what? If somebody else feels like it does, okay, I don't know. How can I believe it if I have not experienced it?
Right.
So,
Right.
But yeah, I can't say this has made me feel like a believer. I don't know. I just don't know. So.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because there's a small part of me when people talk about ghosts or their experiences where I'm just like, no, you're wrong.
I know.
Yeah.
And that's inside. Honestly, every time especially if it gets really detailed, like, I saw Santa Claus holding like the Easter Bunny's head bleeding, and it's a ghost and all this shit. I'm like, okay, you're
People
insane.
really, really believe it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's those explanations where you're driving down the highway and you see the light going by from the highway, and people think it's like UFOs and all that stuff. Like, I always feel like there's an explanation.
Sure.
So whenever someone comes up to me with a story, I'm just like, there's a small part of me in the back of my head that's just like, no, either you're honestly got so scared by not really thinking about the situation that you just kind of filled in the gaps, or you're just taking me for a ride.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up this topic, Michael, and if I can add anything to it, I was actually in the time that I've spent with April, she has, as she got more comfortable with me, she's confided that she actually she believes that there is some sort of her grandmother's spirit that maybe kind of just visits every once in a while. And she says that certain odd things will happen, and it's usually the lights flickering whenever she's in a room. And it follows her around, because it could be in any house. And I've actually experienced it with her a couple of times. We were over at her mom and dad's having dinner, and she started talking about her grandma. And between her mom and her dad, they were having this conversation, and as soon as she started talking about her grandmother, the lights flickered. And her dad, kind of noticed it, and I didn't really say anything. Nobody really said anything, and so they kept talking, and everybody was enjoying dinner, and then the lights flickered again. And he just kind of stopped and looked, and you can tell that this is something that's been ongoing, because they're a little bit more comfortable with it. And he goes, man, that's the weirdest thing, because they never do that. They never do that. And
is this something that he knew that she experienced?
This is something that he knows that she's experienced, and this is, I think, happened since her grandmother passed away. I'm not sure when that's been.
Is that his mom?
That is his mom. And so she said that, but this is before we met, but at one point she had gone out to run some errands or something like that or whatnot, and then came home, and nobody else was home. She was bringing in groceries or something, and she heard a sound, like somebody's voice. And so she's kind of looking through the house, wondering what it is. She goes into her bedroom, and the TV's on. And she just, she didn't leave it on, obviously. And so she turned it off, and she said she's had a couple more experiences like that. So I was over there last night. We had dinner together, and we were hanging out. And we're in her room talking, and all of a sudden the TV goes on. We hadn't touched the remotes. We weren't talking about her grandmother or anything, but it just came on. Mm-hmm. And we kind of sat there and looked at it for a second, and then it turned off again.
Interesting.
Man, that was weird. So, we kind of talked about that for a little bit. Nothing happened.
Did she have the clapper?
Yeah.
And were you having sex?
Yeah. No. That's a fair question, Joe. And so then...
Wait, were you freaked out?
No, I wasn't freaked out at all because, I'm not... Now, while I do subscribe to... I acknowledge that there are... I subscribe to the idea that, yes, I do believe that there are paranormal things out there, unexplainable things that we just don't know about. I try to approach these types of situations with a logical approach,
Mm-hmm.
and I try and debunk it.
Yeah.
I try and say, okay, well, you know what? Yeah. Yes, the TV turned on by itself, but... And so she was freaked out, and I immediately went to what anybody does in these situations now. I go to Google, and I go, why does my TV turn on by itself? And so there was, like these top 10 list of reasons why, and it's, somebody like your next door neighbor, or if you live in an apartment complex, or if you live in a house, somebody could have the remote that works off the same frequency that yours does. Mm-hmm. They could just accidentally be, it's like those old garage door openers. You press one down the street and your neighbor's goes up and nobody knows why. There's that. Some people said, if the batteries get too low, then they'll send out these bursts of energy, and the whole thing works on infrared between the remote and the TV. So maybe the TV could interpret these bursts as, oh, I got to turn on, and it just it turns on. And so, I'm offering all these explanations, and she's like, I just don't know. I don't know. It seems like it might be my grandmother, and I don't know. And so, I'm really trying to dismiss it, and it kept happening. The TV was on, and then off, then on. And then it would start to change channels. And then it would turn off, and then it would turn on, and the volume would go up, and then it would turn off. And I'm like, oh, wait,
over the course of how long?
Over the course of about 10 minutes.
Wow.
So this was consistent.
Jeez.
And so she's getting freaked out. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to start removing these, potential...
Take out the power cord and still fucking doing it.
No, well, okay, so that's the funny thing, is I went to the remote and I took the batteries out, and the TV turned on. I was like, all right, well, it's not the remote. Sure. So then it turned on, turned off, turned off.
You started
so I hit the power,
equation.
I hit the power button. Yeah, exactly. I hit the power button on the TV turned off. And I sat there, and sure enough, it powered right back on. I look back at her, and she's freaked out. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to take the power cord out. I took the power cord out of the wall, and I turned around and I said, if this thing turns on now, then
we better run.
There's time to. Then this is weird, because that should not happen. And I think it's just an old TV. It never turned back on after that.
Yeah.
But it's these types of situations. But then here's the weird thing, and she might get pissed off at me for admitting this on the show. But she admitted to me that she was very close to her grandmother, and she does keep a mini urn of her grandmother's ashes in her sock drawer.
Okay.
So I don't
underneath the TV.
Right
there. So she's with us, and then of course I'm thinking now, geez, that just means that everything that's happened in this room throughout the course of our relationship, her grandmother has partly been a party too, and so that just weirds me out a little bit.
Yeah, that's a party.
Yeah, that's just. Necrophilia is not my cup of tea, Voyeurism from beyond the grave is not my idea of a Friday night. But it's just.
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's just an old TV. I think it's getting some weird reception.
What, is it a CRT?
And, yeah, it's an old CRT. It's a 13-inch, tube TV, and nothing special. I mean. I've never seen my LCD do it.
It was windy. Maybe there was fluctuations in the power or something.
So many explanations for something like that. At least with my experiences at my old house,
I've never experienced a TV turning on and off, old or not. So that's really weird to me.
Yeah.
Have you been with I've had old TVs.
This was no. I have an old TV that I keep in my boys' room, and it never. I mean, that thing it's a rock. Yeah.
I mean, I've experienced like rolling over onto the remote and not knowing it and getting freaked out by it.
And that was other things that the website said. It was like maybe your pet stepped on it, didn't realize it, or it even got as far as like somebody's playing a prank on you. I mean, somebody's just trying to get a reaction out of you.
Yeah.
And she was just kind of like, I don't know, I don't think so, because I think it was between that and the lights flickering. which I have witnessed as well. And I mean, it is weird. It does seem like it happens when her grandmother comes up in conversation. And like if she was here right now talking to us and we were talking about this, I'd say there was at least an 80% chance that these lamps would do it. And these are CFLs.
See, what I'm thinking is she gets a lot of static electricity from that 13-inch CRT in her room, and when she walks in, she just
probably.
I'm just playing, but I did find actually. I mean, I told you this before. Like, I would be in front of that computer playing Commodore when I was a kid, and I'd walk into rooms and they would cause static electricity. But that's neither here nor there. I don't think that's her issue.
Well, let me ask you this: you guys being in the lighting industry, what is the likeliest candidate of lights flickering?
Well, if they're incandescents, it's just fluctuations in the current that's being delivered to the lamp itself. But now, I mean, compact fluorescents, you can't light a fluorescent unless you have a constant flow through a ballast.
Yeah,
so a lot of these lamps are self-ballasted. You can dim CFLs now, but the technology is. I mean, you're not going to find it in a regular 13-watt, plug in and turn on type of lamp. You can also dim LEDs. They're self-ballasted as well. But again,
LEDs use drivers. It's a little different,
right?
Yeah.
But again, you're looking at.
So what kind of lights are we talking about that are frequently dimming or not dimming?
Well, flickering. I mean,
flickering.
even all of them can flicker. All of them can.
Okay.
Even CFLs. I mean, if the ballast is failing, I mean, honestly, it can only hold so much power. It's just when voltage goes up and down. Yeah. Like all voltage is pretty much it's always fluctuated. It's never steady like 120 or 277. Yeah. So I don't know. All of them can do it. Yeah. All of them can do it, and I've seen them all do it. So
I don't know.
That's the nerdy lighting hour. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it plays into what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
It is so crazy.
Kids are seeing ghosts.
I sure hope not. I'd feel terrible for her. I mean, I think she's fine. I don't think it's going to affect her, but love to just get to the bottom of it. My wife is convinced that it was because where she sits in her high chair and she eats her meals, she has a direct line of sight through the kitchen door and to the windows by the front door. Okay, and my wife is convinced that at one time there was a delivery guy that came and knocked on the door, rang the doorbell, whatever, and startled her, and she's remembering that.
Sure.
So seeing into that room and seeing
that's scary
through that window, and she was startled. And but orange, I don't know. Maybe it was a black dude. I don't know.
Or maybe it's UPS and it looked orange. I don't know because they have brown.
Maybe.
I don't know. So
I don't know.
I do have an anonymous question.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. The question is, what was the most hurt you've ever been physically? So, like an accident, or because this was spawned of that was the worst you've been. That was the one where you crashed.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I've been lucky, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I broke my thumb in high school wrestling as a junior, and that wasn't that bad. In fact, I remember it being broken, and I'm showing my mom, and it's swollen to all hell, and she's like, "Hey, we're going to go visit your grandpa. Why don't you just go over and, get that done?" Because he was at Kaiser at the time.
Right.
So I was like, "No, I don't want to, It's nothing." And it's like, it was swollen, like, it was not something I've normally seen. This is not normal. This isn't something you shake off. So went, and of course, as I'm walking back into my grandpa's room after going to the doctor, I have a cast on, and I'm just like, "Mom, you bitch."
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's her fault.
You did this to me, but not really.
So that was probably the worst, where I actually had to have a cast. It was my right hand. So I had to write with my right, but it was just so hard with a cast, and masturbating was a mess.
Oh, I'm sure.
Wait, what'd you say? You had to write
more than normal.
I tried to write with my right hand. Yeah.
Wait, you're not left-handed?
No, but I had a cast on my right
I see
hand.
what you're saying.
So it was just difficult.
Copy that.
The scariest one, and I don't know if I've told you this one. Have you heard about the swing set and the S hook?
No.
Shit, that just sounds bad.
Yeah. So on a swing set, there's two chains,
Yeah.
two S hooks
Yes.
that hook onto a chair. And nowadays they're closed off usually, but back in the day you could take those off. So I used to take...
It's because it was the 80s and we just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, after I played with my lawn darts, which are illegal, I just go do this. So I took the chair off, and I was young. I think I was like 4, 5, 6.
Hatchet throwing.
And I'm swinging just the chain back and forth, and it hits me. And it didn't hurt at all. I was totally fine. Nothing hurt, I swear. So I walk over to my sister, and she goes, Joey, you're bleeding. And I look down, and there's just blood coming down my leg. Like, just gushing, like a lot. So I run over to my mom. My mom obviously takes, like, my shorts off, and I guess the S-hook went, swung back, and caught my testicle, and that small amount of skin, it cut it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So
you didn't feel... Well, you're a kid, right? Your balls haven't dropped yet.
No, my balls dropped.
It's just an empty sack.
No, everything was there. It was normal testicles.
You said 4?
5,
4
4 or
years
5,
old?
yeah.
I mean, you have balls.
Yeah.
But they're not.
But we're talking about the scrotum. We're not talking about the
prolific.
His actual testicles.
Yeah, no, it was just the skin around him.
Okay.
So they took me. They obviously
It hit your nut and blood was gushing out of your dick.
Yeah, that's a little
I don't
weird.
think that's.
No, that was weird. Yeah, I just
my
started
God.
peeing blood. So in shock, I started throwing
Let
up.
me tell you what.
I started throwing up semen. I
It
was a
didn't
mess.
hurt at all, but let me
I
tell you what
passed.
scared me the most.
I passed out, yeah.
So I took the to the hospital. I remember getting 4 shots around it that were extremely painful. Tetanus shots. I remember it was all a lady doing it, and I was really embarrassed. And
Sure,
then,
of course.
Yeah, I had to get stitches.
Wow.
So that was the scariest.
So you have a stitch scar on your sack?
Yes.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
it's not very noticeable.
Well, not unless
Let's
you're
see
down
it.
there looking
Let's
at
see
it.
how noticeable it is.
Oh,
Come
dude,
on.
you're going to be
I'll
more
be the
shocked by the
judge.
surrounding area.
I'll be the judge of that. You do that, Michael.
All right. Well, maybe if he's just taking pictures on that thing, maybe I'll do it.
I'll take a burst photo of 20 high-res shots.
Yeah.
We'll,
close-up.
We'll let our viewers be the judge.
Fucking
Yeah.
But
magnifying glass.
I think the most recent was just getting pushed out of the bike lane and hitting a car. That still hurts. I'm still hurt by that. My thumb still hurts from that.
Oh, does it?
Oh yeah. It probably was broken. The doctor said anything he could do right now is he'd have to break it and reset it.
Yeah.
But it's not nearly as bad, and I still feel it a little in my ear.
Oh, God.
Yeah, pretty gnarly.
That's
That's about it. Anything other than that, it was just like any swift kick to the balls. I was just like the worst day of my life.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So yours was obviously when you flew into the
Yeah. I mean, it was a watercraft accident, and I was thrown into a seawall
Via your crazy uncle.
via my fucking uncle. Son of a bitch.
That was what MD was going to say, but he
God
didn't.
rest his soul.
He didn't
Yeah, I
have
know.
the permits to do so.
Bastard. Yeah, no, if at high speeds. At high speeds. Really, I mean, Sea-Doo, I mean, it was whatever, I don't know how many cc's.
You're probably pushing 20, 25 miles an hour on
Yeah,
that.
at least.
And that's fast on water. You know?
Oh, yeah.
You hit water going that fast. It's like hitting
Really,
concrete.
honestly,
Yeah.
I could be dead easily in this situation because a number of things could have just broken differently, and I could have hit any number of other things, but just by a stroke of luck, I hit this one particular spot, and that was that was I guess a little more
Least
forgiving.
Jaggy.
Yeah, but you know what? The
Yikes.
worst part of that, I mean, is obviously, some of the extra cutting effect of barnacles.
Yeah,
Barnacles are
that's what you were saying. Ugh.
They're quite sharp at low
Yeah.
speeds.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
So,
so
at
barnacles,
no speeds.
At high speeds,
Yeah.
they're like razors.
yeah, just imagine just getting fucking thrown into and rolling over.
They're nature's cocaine cutters, if you will.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's razor blades.
gonna say.
Never
I know,
heard
right?
that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Then you've never done cocaine, Michael.
Yeah, but that was really the worst part, and I know I mentioned it previously, but the worst part of the accident, forget the 100+ stitches in my arm and whatever 30, 40, 50 stitches on my head, whatever, but was cutting the webbing in between my toes.
There's been a few times after you told that story last time that I'll think about that and I'm just like,
Oh yeah,
I'll have like 2 of my toenails pop off because I'm like,
Yeah, that's like
so
just
fucked up.
thinking about getting a paper cut on your tongue.
I forget if they stitched it or
across
not.
your
I want to
open
say
eyes.
I want to say there was like 1 stitch or 2 stitches. But
it was
so they're
just-
like, oh, we got to stitch this, but just 1 stitch or whatever the fuck it was.
One stitch?
Yeah,
Just the one stitch? What movie is that from?
I have
One stitch.
no idea.
Adventures in Babysitting.
It's
Oh,
been a
shit.
long
Remember that on
time.
the subway?
I got to see that again.
And the guy drops his knife and it drops through his
That's
shoe
right.
into his toe.
That's right.
And then they're Elizabeth's shoe who was fucking hot in that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
She was super young. And the kids, they're in the waiting room, and the doctor comes out, and she's like, "Excuse me, is there any news about the guy who with the stabbing wound?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, yeah, he passed away." And she's like, "Oh my God, what?" And then they wheel him out, and it was a miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Well, so what's the word, doc?" He's like, "One stitch." He's like, "One stitch? One stitch?" I'm sorry, Michael.
No. I don't remember that. I love that movie. I remember thinking it was very funny. But
we might need to revisit that.
yeah, no, that was easily my worst. I had some other bad ones, but no, that was easily the worst.
Sure.
So I don't know. What about you, Mikey?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I like Joe. I've been pretty lucky. Knock on wood, I have never broken a single bone in my body, which I think has been really, really fortunate, considering my penchant for ice skating and
very
playing
active
soccer
guy.
and bike riding and just all sorts of stuff. But I mean, voluntarily getting my wisdom teeth out was pretty bad. That was a really, really bad situation. But I think
This is a bullshit question for you.
yeah, I think the worst injury that I've ever had, the worst I've ever been hurt physically was. This is back in 2011. I was playing a hockey game, and
I remember this.
at the time, I've been playing hockey since I was 12, and I've always had a face cage on, a protective cage over my face. In the event that anything ever comes up to, I've got some protection.
Not everybody wears those.
It is not required after you are the age of 18, or if you're in the NHL.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, needless to say, I was not in the NHL at the time. But after I turned
Sucks.
18, I was playing adult league, and I, just played for years and years. Played with one, and then after a while, I thought, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see what it's like without it. I haven't had any close calls. I'm playing with a bunch of just regular dudes. We're not looking to kill each other. Not taking into account that accidents can and do happen. And so I actually I took my face cage off and I put just a half shield on.
Yeah.
So that I still had some eye protection. And I played like that for, I don't know, probably 6 months. And everything was fine. I had no close calls,
Did
nothing like
you
that.
like it more?
I loved it.
A little bit more vision?
My field of vision was there. Peripherals, everything. It was awesome, and I loved it. And so I show up for a game one night. It's about 10:30. I had dropped my kids off at my mom and dad's so they could watch them while I went and played. And played the first period, cool. Second period, cool. Third period, we get into the game, and the puck on this play gets tossed out into the opponent's corner. So I go and I skate for the puck, and this other guy skates in too, and I skate up to the boards and stop, and I'm trying to dig it out with my stick, and we're kind of clashing blades and whatnot, and I get the puck, and I go down to try and get it, and as I'm bending down to try and get it, he takes his stick, and a normal move would be to put his stick under mine and lift my stick so that I couldn't touch the puck. Mm-hmm. Well, he doesn't get his stick under mine. He just puts it above, and so when he lifts his stick, he lifted his blade right into my face. Oh. And the blade of the hockey stick went into my nose. It cut from the I guess what it would be, the base of the nose, right there.
Septum? Is that what it is?
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like a septum piercing? Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
It's that. Not perfectly centered. It was offset a little bit, but from the top of my nose all the way down and split it open.
Split your lip open.
Literally like a movie curtain. Just.
Oh, wow.
And so I stand up. I can feel the warmth of everything in my face gets warm, and I can taste the saltiness in my mouth. And so I know I'm bleeding, and I have my hand cupping my. He's already apologizing profusely. They've stopped the play, and I'm just thinking now in my head, okay, shit. I'm alone at the game. My kids are with my parents. I have to get to the ER. I probably need stitches. What am I going to do? And so I immediately skate off the ice, and I get into the. I
skate right out of the door.
Literally, I had sticks. I had a water bottle. I just went right for the door, and I knew, okay, I need to get this shit off somehow, while keeping the bleeding under control, and I need to get myself to the ER. And so as I'm in the locker room changing, one of my teammates comes in and is like, Mike, let me see it. And I show it to him, and he's like, dude, your tooth is gone. I didn't even realize it at the time. I just the pain, and I don't know if there's just a level where you're in so much pain that you just don't feel it at the time. But I didn't feel it. I hadn't seen it. I didn't know. He's like, man, your tooth is gone and your lip is open wide. I mean, like vagina wide. Just your lip is wide open.
Jeez.
And
Beef curtains.
Yeah, yeah,
Explicit.
yeah.
Oh,
Just
boy.
if that paints a picture.
Deli meats.
And so I go into the bathroom, and sure enough, yeah, I put my tooth is gone. So they go back out to the ice. They've stopped the play. They said he lost his tooth. We need to find it. He finds my tooth and brings it back to me in the locker room. Says, here, put this in your cheek. Keep it warm, and the saliva, it's in that same environment. It will keep your tooth alive and healthy as long as you get to the ER, pretty soon. So I got all my shit off. I got out. I was on the phone. I talked to my dad. I said, Dad, I'm not going to be home for a while. I was just involved in an accident. My lip got hurt, and I got to go to the ER. He's like, well, the kids are asleep. I'll just leave. Your mom's here. I'll come and get you. Yeah. So he comes in. He picks me up. I get taken over to the ER. And they see that I'm bleeding, so obviously I get preferential, seating position, and then they move me right in. They ask me a couple questions. They admit me. I get a thing stepped on my wrist, and the doctor says, we got a guy who's going to come over here with some morphine, but in the meantime, I need to check this out. Okay, so he looks at it. He sees the tooth. I take it out of my cheek and I give it to him, and he looks at my lip. He's like, well, okay, yeah, this is sure, yeah, you're going to need to get this taken care of real quick. So. He ends up calling, he walks away for a minute, and he comes back and he says, okay, I've got good news, but I got bad news. And I said, okay, well, what's the good news? And he says, well, there's an oral plastic surgeon that we work with, the hospital works with. He is proficient in these types of injuries. He is willing to drive to his office with a nurse, and he will fix you up tonight. Now, granted, the game was at 10:30, so this is now like 12:30 at night.
Yeah.
So it's, people aren't just in the office working away.
No.
So he called this guy. This guy said, yes, I'll go. I'll fix him up. And I said, okay, well, that's good.
$1 million.
Yeah, right. And I said, okay, well, what's the bad news? He says, the bad news is, he said, if you want to save that tooth and keep it alive, I have to put it back in right now. And he said, and it's going to hurt a lot.
Ooh.
And so he lays me back down. I lay down on the gurney. And one of the nurses kind of tries to secure my feet, and he takes the tooth, and he makes sure it's facing the right way, and he takes it and he pushes it up slowly into that empty socket.
Ooh.
And I got to tell you right now, with adult teeth, what you see when you smile is only about a third of what's actually there, and there's so much tooth that isn't showing. And he pushed that thing all the way up in there, and that hurt. I don't think I've experienced more pain than that.
Yeah.
And the guy with the morphine hadn't come by yet, and I was just, and then I had to bite down to keep it from popping out because the crevice had already started swelling, and so I had to. But that put me out of commission for a while.
Horrible.
I was on meds for a little bit and took a few days off work, but
Gnarly, dude.
it was pretty
So
bad.
they stitched your lip?
So they take me over to this oral plastic surgeon's office, which is about 10 minutes down the way from the hospital. He's there, and they actually don't tend to my lip right away. They tend to my tooth, and they end up putting a temporary brace on to keep the tooth in place, which I had for 8 weeks. And then, he stitched my lip, and they actually had to go from the outside to the underside of the lip and in the inside. So I had like a full loop of stitches from the inside of my lip to the outside.
Wow.
Now I just have
That's such a sensitive
a
area.
scar there.
Fleshy and
Yeah, but it's weird because you can see it sometimes. Like if I let my whiskers grow out a bit, you can see a line.
Yeah, I don't
there
notice I don't notice the scar at all.
Yeah, it's he did a really
Lucked
good
out.
job. Yeah, he did a really good job. And I think about it now, and it's like, man, I could have gotten hit in the eye. That would have been so much worse. So
Mike, your eyes missing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put it in right now. This is gonna hurt.
Don't worry,
Mike. I'm just gonna poke it back in with this medical grade stick.
That would be so scary if it's like
You're gonna go to this.
Here's the thing about an
Everybody
eyeball.
stop the game. Mike's missing his eye. And they were batting it around like a puck.
There's a shaman that our hospital works with. He'll take care of you.
that would be shocking if you're like, yeah, what you see on your eye is actually only like 10% of it. It's like a snow cone and you have to jam back in. It's so painful.
It is, though.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys sharing. It's about that time, though.
Wait, why was that an anonymous question, by the way?
No, they didn't want me to tell them.
Well, just
I will tell you
spill
after.
the beans.
I'll tell you after.
Okay, all right.
I did have one more quick thing though, and it's something that I haven't told you guys because I wanted to get a genuine reaction on the show, but and because I didn't get to share my week too much because we were involved in way more cool stories, than my week. It hasn't. No, it just wasn't that interesting. But
don't tell me you're pregnant.
a cool thing this week? No, I'm not. It's not that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. What was that? Danny DeVito.
Twins?
Twin. It was,
It's not a tumor.
no. Twins was they were
Oh,
brothers.
no, that's right.
He's the one where he's married is or the one where he gets pregnant. They're doing the
Yeah.
the only scene I remember that is from when he's
Like-
talking to that secretary. He's like, my nipples hurt. My
God.
nipples. Anyway, I had a good week so far at work this week. I was offered a promotion
Oh,
on
awesome.
Monday. Yeah.
Very good.
So they want to pay me more money, which is
good.
weird. Yeah, and they want to move me from my role into that of a lighting designer. So
Congratulations.
So,
Yeah, dude.
I've only been there 7 months, so it's kind
That is great.
of crazy to be that. But I thought that was some pretty good news because it was totally
Very good news.
unexpected, and
They
I
see in you
had
what we
talked-
see in you.
Yeah, I had talked to my director a little bit before about some opportunity, and he said this is more room for growth and better for you, and this
Very
is what
good,
we
man.
wanna do.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, and by the way, that movie was Junior. Not to step on it.
You're right,
All right.
Junior.
Well, congratulations, man.
Well, are
That's
you
awesome.
gonna be a junior lighting designer, or are you gonna be a senior lighting designer?
I will not be a senior lighting designer.
Okay.
There are requirements and tests that I would have to take to reach that actual title. But lighting designer, I will be. So
They probably don't put the junior on there because it sounds a bit,
Right.
immature.
Or
I guess.
assistant, and it's always
yeah, not assistant, not junior. Yeah, I think it'll
Shitty?
just- the business
Right.
card will read.
Shitty light designer?
Yeah.
No, that's more of what someone would say if you did a bad job.
That, you start at shitty, and then once you're really good at that, then it changes to super,
Crappy?
super shitty,
Mediocre.
Super shitty.
super shitty. lighting
Mediocre is
designer.
right after that. Yeah. Anyways, actually, check us out podcast at condograyskull.com. I always screw that up. It's so hard to
Nice.
say.
Well, we don't have Colin here to correct us.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Don't worry.
I was nervous he was gonna. So
Totally nailed it.
yeah. So
I
send in
think
your
you
questions
did
there. Obviously, Facebook and Twitter. But
obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Episode 44 is in the books.
44
Magnum.
Yeah, next week is 45.
Colt 45.
Just
Oh, that's what we should be drinking. Some Colt
Oh,
45.
God.
Are
That's gonna
you
be a
gonna
rough
bring
one.
that? Are you gonna bring
Yeah,
that?
I'll bring it.
All right.
Oh, man. Well, I'm gonna bring it too.
We'll tune
We're
in.
gonna
the
bring
podcast.
it. We're gonna broad it.
Damn.
All right. Well,
Stay
until-
nerdy.
Stay dirty
And stay dirty.
for next week. All right. Bye.
Bye.